Can you begin recording?
Yes, I have started.
Awesome. Okay, well, I am going to turn it over to Patience and the VRTI team to welcome you all today.
Okay, thank you, Barbara. Welcome, everyone. Thank you, Barbara and Kate. We are so privileged to have Barbara and Kate. For those who have not known them, these are the mothers that really bet quality improvement in the lab that actually led us to accreditation. And I'm sure as Zimbabwe, we are so proud to partake in this. Most of our labs have gone through the sleep test LAMTA process and they've been accredited. So thank you, Barbara and Kate. Welcome to participants to our second LARC coaches training. We are excited and we are moving forward. And as I said before, let's learn from the great coach or great team that we have of our consultants, and so that we can impact our own healthcare system. Thank you. I'm not so sure, maybe we have some of our PMT members attending. Would like to also welcome them, and thank you, and over to you, Barbara.
Okay, thank you, Patience, for that warm welcome today. We're going to start off with an icebreaker today. So I want to ask you to turn on your camera if you have completed all the IHI courses. So if you've completed all the IHI courses, turn on your camera. We'd love to see your face. All right. And I can't see everybody's face, but I see some people waving. I see the top of someone's head. So if you, oh, it's Patience. Okay, so if you've completed your IHI courses, turn on your camera. And then I have a question for you. And this is that you can type in the chat box. If you completed your IHI courses, which one of these courses did you find most useful, most beneficial? So type in the chat box. You can just type in the course number if you want, if that's easier or quicker. But type in the chat box and let us know which courses from the IHI did you find most useful, most beneficial, did you enjoy the most? Patience, I'm going to ask you to help us with the chat box today to make sure we don't miss anything. All right, wow, we're getting some interesting information here. So there's a vote for QI 103, leadership 101, another vote for 103, 104, 201, which is planning for spread, 104, integrating data, the run charts. 102, we got to vote for that. How to improve with the model for improvement. 103, testing and measuring changes with PDSA, another vote for leadership. So it seems like we have quite a variety of answers. Here's a vote for 105, which is leading quality improvement.
The person who voted 3 courses, 101, 102, 104, named Galaxy Tab A. Could you please rename yourself so we know who you are? Thank you.
Thanks for voting for 3. That's awesome. Well, I hope that that is an indication that you have found many of those beneficial. And also just want to remind you that we love to have you type into the chat box questions, comments. We will definitely be monitoring that. So thanks for jumping in and joining us this morning. Let's take a quick look at our pager. PAGER. P is for purpose, A is for agenda, G is for our ground rules, E is for expected outcomes, and R is for roles and responsibilities. So you'll see the purpose for today's meeting is to provide the how-to for Smart Start. So we are really looking forward to getting going on Smart Start. So that is a key purpose for today's meeting. After we've already had our welcome, we've had our icebreaker, and we're taking a quick look at our pager. We'll look at the scorecard from Ms. Fortunate Mikado. We will have a discussion on our baseline data from Mr. Jafet Mabuku. And we've got a couple videos this morning, and then we've got a panel, which I'm super excited to have some of those expert coaches from last time join in and give us some guidance on how to do Smart Start. I hope you have some questions ready, and we'll be ready for that part of the session. And then we'll spend a few minutes looking ahead, and we will plan on being done by 2 o'clock today. So thanks for joining in. Our ground rules, we always aim to begin and end on time. We hope to be respectful to every person and be open to all thoughts. We want to encourage your engagement. Of course, keep your audio on mute unless you're speaking. And certainly we want this to be super interactive. So you can raise your hand or put a question in the box. And then the expected outcome is that each coach on this meeting, and let's see, how many people do we have? 46. Each coach will lead a Smart Start and be able to produce those assigned deliverables. That is our expected outcome after this meeting. We do ask our faculty members if they would be able to stay by for just a few moments, and we will do a debrief right after this meeting. So if you're faculty and you're on this call, we'd love for you to stay by. And I just want to remind us to begin with the end in mind. And of course, our end is really measurable results that, of course, improve care for our clients and improve our work in our clinics and labs. So I want to introduce you to the concept of toll gates today. You know, we're using DMAIC, define, measure, analyze, improve, and control. And we would like to remind you that we need to pass a toll gate before we can move on to the next phase or the next activities. So our toll gates are our deliverables, and each one builds upon another. So if we aren't able to pass our toll gates, we can't get on to the next section in the road, right? So let's work on keeping those toll gates in mind. And in that respect, we have an updated currently itinerary which lists out the different deliverables that would be due at each session. So I hope you have a copy of that. If you don't, we'll get that out to you so you can have the toll gates in mind throughout the project. So just a reminder, coming to you soon, 2 weeks from today is going to be the webinar on March 16. And that means that the deliverables need to be due on March 10. So today's the 2nd, a sort of a compressed timeline, and that really gives us time to get the deliverables in, to have them reviewed, to provide you with feedback, because that's how we learn. So we're going to begin with the end in mind. These are the deliverables. We'll talk more about this, but the process map and the process table are certainly the key outputs from the Smart Start, this impact effort grid, where we're determining, we're cataloging and prioritizing our opportunities for improvement, the project outline, our problem statement, our aim statement, the elevator speech, getting your team in place, and the stakeholder analysis will all be outputs over these next 2 weeks. So just to put a fine point on that, the deliverable timetable will be the March 10 is when the coaches will get their deliverables to the faculty. That will give the faculty 1 day to do that review. And that would be March 11, and then March 12, which is a Friday, that would be the opportunity to get that to our project management team. And then on Monday, then they can get that to Katie and I. We can prepare for our next webinar. So that's sort of how that timeline looks. And that is ending for my session now. I'm going to turn the time over to Fortunate for an update on our scorecard.
Afternoon, everyone. How are you?
We're well, Fortunate. Thank you.
Thank you. So I'm just giving an update on our last, on the, okay, just a minute. Okay, so I'm giving an update on the last webinar for both faculty and coaches. It's just actually a dashboard on what has happened, how people have participated and all that. Are you all able to see my screen? Can you see my screen? I've started sharing.
Yes, Fortunate, we can see it. You might want to switch
Okay.
to a slideshow mode.
We can see
Yeah,
it.
I'm doing that. Okay. Okay. Okay, so this is what is on the screen. This is webinar attendance by faculty. So when you look at the light blue color at the beginning, so we have put this according to organizations. So we're looking at the number of participants, the total number of participants from each partner, and then the webinar attendance, how many people attended, and then the IHI courses, and then the pre-work submission. So you see that for faculty, we have 2 webinar attendance in blue. This was for the faculty training, and then the webinar attendance for the 18th of February for the coaches training. So when you look at the first bar graph, we have Zimtech. They have a total of 14 faculty members from Zimtech. So on the faculty training, which was held on the 16th of February, 86% or 12 of the faculty members managed to attend the training, and then 2 could not attend because of various reasons. Then the webinar attendance for the coaches training, which was on the 18th of February, we had 11 faculty members participating from Zimtech. And then when you look at the IHI courses, you will find that we have 86% or about 12 members of the faculty team who have completed the 7 mandatory IHI courses. And then also the pre-work submission, all 14 people from Zimtech, 13 people, only 1 person did not submit their pre-work, because there was also pre-work for the faculty. So I'm sure as we go down, you can also see BRTI, how they are performing, ZHI, OFID, ZAJ, PSI, FHI 360, Ministry, and also CLSI. You'll find that CLSI, there's 0%, there's only one faculty member from CLSI. And when we had our training and our first webinar, they were still trying to find their feet, so they were still busy with other things. So she didn't manage to attend the faculty training, although she's a trained coach from the last cohort, so at least she has a know-how on what is happening. So I'm sure you can see as faculty where you are in terms of webinar attendance and in terms of IHI courses and pre-work submission. You will see that ZHI, when you look at this graph, ZHI is not doing very well, and ZHI are new in this collaboration. They have a total of 7 faculty members, but only 2 of the faculty members managed to attend the faculty training and also even attend the webinar. But when we look at IHI courses, you see that they are doing very well. They've all done their IHI courses, the faculty team, although pre-work also, they did not submit anything. So I think as faculty, we really need to lead by example and attend. Remember, it's our responsibility to attend all the webinar sessions for the coaches, because we are going to be mentoring these coaches. The next slide is talking about the coaches. Most of us are on this platform. So also the coaches is also divided into organizations. So you find that the Ministry of Health has the highest number of coaches who are here, but in terms of webinar attendance, the numbers are quite low. I'm not sure what the reasons for not attending could be, because data was given to all the coaches who are there. And then when you look at Zimtech, and also when you look at, sorry, just to take you back, at Ministry, when you look at the IHI courses, the IHI courses is the one in orange. So only 25 out of 39 people have completed the 7 mandatory IHI courses. This data, or this is by the 28th of February. So more could have completed by now, but this was done on the 28th of February, on the 1st, when we just finished the month of February. Zimtech, they have 35 participants, and 31 out of 35 have completed the 7 mandatory IHI courses. But for the webinar attendance last week, we only had 21. I know most people were complaining of internet connectivity, hence the low numbers in webinar attendance. So basically, I'm sure we can all see where we are. And then the next slide, this is just talking about the follow-up actions. Just a reminder to say that all pre-work is to be submitted on the specified dates before the next webinar. We always tell you the deadline for submission of pre-work, although even today I was still receiving pre-work from the coaches. Please try to submit on the specified date so that we can look at your pre-work, and also faculty can mark your pre-work, and then we give a briefing on what is happening so that we can talk about this when we have our webinar. So when you submit your pre-work, coaches, please ensure to copy your supervisor or the faculty when you are submitting. And then faculty and coaches are expected to attend all webinars, and supervisors are supposed to ensure support for participation in the webinars. Failure to attend any webinar will require you to view the recording on the LARC website. That is the webinar recording for the day, and then answer a short quiz to ensure moving ahead with everyone else. So you also find that there's a set criteria for certification at the end of the training. So after we've completed our LARC training, we're all going to get certificates only if you meet the set criteria. So thank you, unless if there are any questions on what I've presented. Back to you, Barbara.
Thank you, Fortunate. We know what we measure gets fixed, so we appreciate you sharing that with us. I am going to jump back on and share my screen just to go to the next slide to say we're going to talk about baseline data. So I will now turn the time over to Japhet. Thank you, Japhet. We see your slide.
Okay, sorry, I was on mute. Okay. So I'll just give a recap in terms of the indicators that we are tracking and also to highlight the issues around the timelines, the deadlines for submission of data, and lastly, issues to do with reporting. Thank you, Barbara, for allowing me from your pegged program to just spare some few minutes to give a recap in terms of these metrics that we are focusing on. So, guys, in terms of our metrics, especially for the facility team, we want to establish the proportion of eligible patients with viral load samples delivered. So from the eligible population, we are not worried about whether a sample was collected or not. We are just saying of those that were eligible for a viral load test. So we are not starting from the numerator, but from the denominator. So we want to establish the clients that were supposed to have bled in November and in December. So for our data source, we are using the patient care booklet, our green box. Then for the numerator, to establish whether the samples were received at the lab is supposed to provide us with the information. So to my lab colleagues, may you also supply this information to our facility teams. We are only looking at samples that were sent between November and December 2020. So this is the metric that we'll be focusing on. And let me also highlight this. We are not collecting data for all our sites, but if you look at the Excel file that was shared, we have one priority site that we'll be focusing on during the 60-day project or the training period. So you'll be collecting data for only one facility, not for all the facilities. The same applies. So let me just flash the reporting period. So we have only two major reporting periods, the November and the December. For November, we are looking at November calls for those that were eligible for 12 months viral load. Then we also add the ones that were eligible for 6 months viral load, that is the May cohort. So it's November 2019 going backwards, plus May 2020 cohort. December, we are looking at all the December cohorts from 2019 going backwards. Then we also add the 6 months eligible clients for 6 months viral load. That is the June 2020 cohort. Let me say this again. We are only collecting data for one facility. Then in terms of the lab we are going to be using the printouts from LIMS. Those are the source documents that we will be using, the Excel file from the LIMS. So basically, from what we agreed is to say, from all the samples that were received at the lab, how many of the viral load samples were received within the targeted pre-analytic time? So let's make use of the Excel file. So your work is easier in the sense that you are playing around with the Excel file. You are not going back into the green books to abstract the information. So it's just a matter of extracting data from those Excel sheets. But when you are reporting, we will break down the months to be reporting on a weekly basis. And our reporting period is from October 2020 to December 2020. October 2020 to December 2020. Then that's my final slide. We have shared the data collection and reporting tools. I've shared an Excel file. If you have not received it, please reach out to me. But like what Katie and Barbara always emphasize, in QI, we try by all means to use low technology, but at the same time, we have what you call high touch or high impact. So we should not worry about these electronic tools, but we can just print it out. Then we use a hard copy, which we can file in our QI files that are supposed to be at the facility, so that at least we know, we can track if you visit your facility that week 1, this was your online list with all the clients, those ones that are eligible, and so forth. And even for the learning board, I think Katie and Barbara will also take us through that. We can even draw with a pen and a paper without using fancy technology. So I just want to remind the house that do not worry about this fancy database and so forth. Let's use the low technology to yield a high impact. Then the deadline, it has not changed. The deadline for data submission is today. And if there are any issues that you want to need to address, please hit my inbox so that I can assist you. Thank you for those that have submitted. I've received data from some coaches. To those that have not submitted, that's my email address. Don't forget to copy your faculty representatives so that they are also in the loop. They are also in the picture of what is happening. You can also copy Fortunate Patients and Nora. And that's my WhatsApp number. If you have any issue, please drop a message in my WhatsApp inbox so that I can assist you. I'm available. And maybe the last thing that I also want to mention, that you can also use that same number for EcoCash transaction in case you want to bless me for the good work. I think in a nutshell, that's the recap that I wanted to give in terms of baseline data collection. So guys, if you have not submitted and you are facing challenges, please, let's talk. Please hit my inbox. Please call me so that I can assist you. And from the presentation that Barbara shared, we have more and more deliverables. From this meeting, we are supposed to do the smart start. So if we delay the process for baseline data collection, we'll be choked with a lot of deliverables, which will make it our life miserable. So that's all I have. Over to you, Barbara.
LARC will never make our lives miserable, Japhet.
Nice one.
Thank you, Japhet. So Japhet has made every effort to make that very clear, and he's given us an opportunity to reach out to him if we have questions. So Japhet, thank you so very much. Really appreciate that. Before I start sharing again, oh, Katie gave you applause, Japhet. So before I start sharing again, I would love to have everyone turn on their cameras. I would like to see everyone's face. So turn on your cameras. Oh, great. I have 4 screens. I have 79 people online right now. No, they're coming on. They're coming on. More and more are coming on. So yeah, turn your camera on. We'd love to see you. We have 78 now, 78 participants. So it's a big community.
Barbara,
But
there's a hand. Someone would raise his or her hand. Galaxy Tab A.
Okay.
Hi, Barbara.
Hello. Did you have a question or comment? Did the person who raised their hand have a question or comment?
I think that person lowered the hand.
Okay. All right. Great. Well, we're up to 80 participants now. It is super great to see your smiling face. I'm going to grab a screenshot here. So I love to have everyone's camera on. Okay, smile. All right. Excellent. 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 Okay. We're all here. We're ready to go. I don't know if I properly introduced myself, but Patience mentioned this morning, I'm Dr. Barbara McKinney. I come to you from the US, and I think you've probably seen me on some of the LARC videos where we aim to guide you through this improvement project process. Today we have a special treat. We have a video by one of our LARC coaches, and you will also hear from her a little bit later today in our panel. So listen up as we hear Miss Jackie talk to us about what LARC means to me. I'm going to start the video, and I want to make sure everyone can hear. So is everyone hearing well?
No,
No,
and
we can't hear
we are
you.
looking at your presenter's mode.
Okay, let me switch. How about now? Not sure.
You are not sharing your screen at this moment.
Yeah.
Okay, now it looks good.
Okay, let's make sure we can hear. Start again.
There's no audio.
Yeah, that's not good because the other video played this morning. So let's see if we. Try it one more time. Any sound?
No.
No.
Well, that is not good. So sorry. We will make another attempt next week. We tested our other video today, and maybe Jackie can share a little bit of that piece with you when she comes on later in our panel. We do have one more video, and we are going to play that now, and it's going to provide you with a little introduction to Smart Start. All right, were you able to hear that?
No.
Yeah, we tested that earlier. We definitely tested this one before we
Probably
started
before
today.
everyone signed on, so it's still internet connection issue.
Yeah, I don't know because we did test it. All right, well, you
But
can
not
still.
with this many people, right? When you tested it.
No, we tested it earlier. Well, I can still play it. You will still see the slides. Unfortunately, apparently it seems like you will not be able to hear the music, but it's just a couple minutes and it gives you a broad overview for Smart Start. So enjoy. Okay, were you able to hear as we got started then?
Yes, me, I did.
Okay.
Yes, it was audible.
Awesome. So I think I know what may be the problem. maybe that I had my headphones in. So we can go back and see if we can hear Jackie. But before we do that, just wanted to ask if there was anything that jumped out at you from these slides. You can certainly type it into the chat box. Anything that you noticed that you maybe was new to you or unexpected, or just what caught your attention as you watched the Smart Start video. So go right ahead and type into the chat box. Anything you noticed in the slideshow and pictures of Smart Start? I'm not seeing any comments in the chat box yet. We're going to go back and we're going to be able to hear Jackie, I'm pretty sure now. And while you're listening to Jackie, if you have anything that you noticed in the photos and the slideshow, feel free to go ahead and share. Let's try Jackie again.
Hello, everybody. My name is Jacqueline.
Were you able to hear that?
Yes.
Beautiful. All right.
Yes,
Here we go.
Hello, everybody. My name is Jacqueline Anita Zulu Samshonga. I'm a nurse by profession, but currently I'm working as a district site improvement community linkages officer in the city of Harare. LARC. When I first heard about LARC, I just thought it was another project for implementation. But after the time I got to spend on the LARC project, I really appreciate the chance and the time I got to spend on implementing LARC in our health facilities in Harare. When I think about LARC, two things come to my mind. The first thing is teamwork, and the second thing is quality improvement. In teamwork, I think teamwork involves different cadres with different specialities and different knowledge in their areas of expertise. When these different cadres come together, they're able to deliver high quality care to clients and patients that come to the health facilities. When I think of quality improvement that LARC has taught me, I think about a process or looking at a process that we have at our facility. Once we look at our process from the beginning to the end, we're then able to identify or look for opportunities for improvement. These opportunities are areas where we can then find solutions or interventions as a team that I did mention earlier, and then be able to find these interventions and solutions, and then find ways that we can deliver the best quality or best possible care to our clients. LARC has actually taught me and has actually helped me improve my skills in terms of delivering services to our clients. LARC has taught me that we don't need resources. We don't need extra human resources. We don't need extra money. We don't need extra hands. But we can make do with the little resources that we have at our facility to make sure we give our clients the best possible service that we can offer our clients at facility level. LARC is the way to go, and I wish and I hope that we'll be able to implement the information that we gained through the LARC project in all other departments at the health facilities. I say thank you for the chance and the opportunity I got to work in LARC and the knowledge that I gained as well from LARC. Thank you.
Wow, what a great story. Thanks to Jackie. Really appreciate that. And I know you heard from two coaches in our introduction last time. So I'm going to go
Barbara,
back.
there are two people type in the chat box and very good comments.
Oh, good. Can you read them for me?
Yes, so Billy said it is very participatory approach. And Joseph said, sticky notes being pasted on the wall.
Yes, sticky notes are a trademark of process mapping. So that's great. And participatory, for sure, for sure. So I hope you remember our purpose and our expected outcome. Our purpose is to provide the how-to for Smart Start. I know you've watched the pre-videos. You just saw a slideshow, but the expected outcome will be that each coach will lead a Smart Start and produce assigned deliverables. So that's a tall order. And I think that the best way to learn about Smart Start is really from some of our experienced coaches who went through LARC previously. So I would like to now ask our panel to turn on their videos. So we're going to have some questions. We'll ask our coaches, but we have an opportunity at the end for some questions from our audience. So if you have questions, you can go ahead and start putting them in the chat box now. And we, with the end goal in mind, the end goal is that you're going to conduct this Smart Start at one site. At one site, you're going to be conducting this Smart Start. So I will, at this moment, I'm going to stop sharing so we can see the entire screen and see the coaches better. I'm going to ask each one of our coaches to introduce themselves. And when they introduce themselves, I would like for them to share with you basically in a short sentence what they felt like the benefits were of the Smart Start process mapping activity. So I will kick it off to our three coaches. Please go ahead and turn on your camera, open up your mic, and share with us your name, who you are, what you do, and share with us just a brief introductory sentence about the benefits that you saw of Smart Start. Who would like to kick it off for us? So Jackie, Vijani, Samuel.
Samuel is trying to join back in. His internet just fell off, so he's trying to connect again.
Okay.
And I see Jackie and Fijani are there.
All right, Jackie and Vijani, go for it.
Hi, Barbara. Sorry, please could you repeat the question? My network had just dropped off.
No worries. This is just an opportunity for you to introduce yourself and give me a short sentence about what you felt like the benefits were of Smart Start and process mapping.
Okay, hello everybody. My name is Jacqueline Anita Shonga. Currently, I'm working in Harare as a district site improvement community linkages officer with an organization called what Smart Start means to me, or what my experience has been doing the Smart Start activity, is basically process mapping is when a team comes together and then we look at the current process that we have at our facility. It gives us an opportunity to identify opportunities for improvement. When we look at and as a team, we'll be then able to identify to say this process is vital in delivering quality to our clients, or we can drop the process and add or replace the process with another process as well. So it's basically coming together as a team and finding opportunities for improvement through our process or seeing our process of delivering quality services to our clients. Thank you.
Thanks, Jackie. Fajani, can you also introduce yourself and share with us what you thought the benefits were of the Smart Start and process mapping activity? Fortunate patients, perhaps you can help. I am not seeing Fajani or hearing her.
Yeah, I think maybe she has also dropped off. She was here a few minutes ago, but I think maybe let's just go on. When they join in, we'll ask them to, I'll just call her on the side and hear what's happening. Then maybe we can continue with Jackie.
Perfect. Is Samuel back on?
Not yet. I'll inform you as soon as he's back.
Okay, thank you. All right, so Jackie, I have another question for you. What was the hardest part of Smart Start? What was a challenge that you experienced?
Okay, I think one of the hardest things or one of the hardest challenges that we experienced during the Smart Start was the data collection. I think we did get help from Jaffet in the end, but I think basically getting the team together, collecting the data, and the periodic collection of data was also a challenge with most facilities or most sites. So, but we did, like I did mention, we got help or assistance from Jaffet. When we had problems, we would reach out to Jaffet and he would try and assist us in trying to get the data that is wanted.
That is certainly a challenge, and hopefully the session today that Jaffet shared with us would make that easier. So as you were preparing for Smart Start, I know we joined in with you on that day. As you were preparing for Smart Start, did you find did certain things helpful as you were preparing? And if you were going to do this again, is there anything you might do differently?
Maybe to say something I would do differently. I think maybe to involve our facility staff more. I think they're the ones that are on the ground, unlike us as coaches that do support the sites here and there. But mostly our cadres on the ground are the ones that are doing the data collection. They know their clients more, they know the people on ART more. So I think the more we involve our facility staff, I think that would actually help our program, help the Smart Start as well. So maybe if they're able, since now we are going into virtual communication, network or data challenges are still being in on our meetings and then getting to know where we're coming from, because when we go down to them, but I think if we have one or two joining in here and there, I think it will actually help the process as well.
So that is certainly key, Jackie. That's like one of the most important tenets of quality improvement overall, is that the people who are on the front line who touch the process also are the best people to help improve the process and make it better. So excellent point. So my next question has to when we walk the process. So I know that we talked about we sat in a classroom. I remember the day very well. We sat in a classroom, we had a lot of sticky notes on the wall, and then we went to walk the process. Is there anything that when you were walking the process that you may have learned that surprised you, or that you didn't expect, or that maybe wasn't going the same way that you had thought it was when we were sitting in a classroom?
Thank you for that, Barbara. I'll definitely say there were things that we saw that were not actually what the cadres actually told us that the process is like this. For example, you're in a classroom setting, and the cadres that are actually doing the work will tell you our process starts from point A to point B to point C. But then when you actually walk the process, what is said is actually what is not on the ground. So I think the walking the process actually helped us to realize, to say, okay, this is what is meant to be done. But when you actually go down onto the ground and actually walk the process, it's actually what is not done. And I think that also brought an eye opener to the cadres that are actually doing the process, to say, oh, okay, this is what is supposed to be done, but it's not what is actually done. So I think it was actually a benefit for us to actually walk the process with the cadres, so they can actually identify to see, oh no, this is actually improved. And thank you.
So thank you, Jackie. I loved what you said about being an eye opener. That is one of the most common comments that we get when people talk about this process mapping, is that it's an eye opener. And again, I encourage you to put on those improvement glasses when you walk around, because you will look at it from an outsider view maybe, and you will see things differently than you do on a day-to-day basis. So I remember that day, but did you identify any opportunities for improvement? That team that walked around, did you identify opportunities for improvement?
Going back to that day, I think we did identify some opportunities for improvement, because when we did walk the process and then came back to the classroom, we're able to compare the process that we talked about before we did walk the process, and then find out to say, okay, this is what is actually not on the ground. And the opportunities for improvement were discussed as a team to say, no, if we improve here, then maybe our process will actually improve in the end. So we did identify quite a number of opportunities that we did try to put in place as a team from Bari. And we did try to put those opportunities that we identified into the process to try and improve the services. And I think if the team was here, they would actually say that we did make a difference. We did improve the system that was already in place.
So thank you, Jackie. I really appreciate you making that point home, is that how important it was to walk that process, identify those opportunities for improvement, come back to the classroom, compare what you thought was happening to what's actually happening, and then pull together those opportunities for improvement.
So Barbara Tendai raised her hand.
Awesome. Tendai is also an experienced coach from last time. Tendai, what would you like to open your mic and speak with us?
Hi, team. Hello.
Hi, Tendai, we can hear you.
Okay. Smart Start is very important, because if it's actually done genuinely, you can see the performance of the facility at that moment. Then you can identify the areas with gaps. After identifying these gaps, then it will actually assist you to work on these opportunities for improvement. So when doing Smart Start, it has to be very accurate. People must actually feel that it's not a fault-finding activity, but it's something that will be used to improve the facility performance at any given time. That's what I can say concerning Smart Start. Thank you. Over.
Oh, thank you, Tendai. I really appreciate you adding that in. Yes, it's certainly the way we look at this is opportunities for improvement. So I really appreciate you bringing that point home. I also see Billy has his hand up. Billy, would you like to open your mic and you can ask a question, make a comment? We have Jackie here and there are other coaches on the line. So please, Billy.
Good afternoon, team. I would just like to make a comment. I realize as Jackie was going through his conversation, particularly on the walking the process. And I realized that usually when what people say, they do. And then you realize when you are walking the process that what they are doing is slightly different. What it means is that they actually know that what they are saying they are doing is what they should be doing. So I'm just thinking that maybe if there are so many variations between what people say they are doing and what they're actually doing on the ground, it means people need more assistance with the implementation. They know what needs to be done, but probably the implementation part is what's lacking. So in that case, it would mean that more coaching is required on implementation, and it will be necessary to give people confidence that what you are saying you are doing can actually be done.
So Billy, I really appreciate that perspective. Actually, in one of the reports of one of the QI projects, they said pretty much we know what are best practices or solutions, but it's in the how to do it. And I appreciate you saying coaching is really important. And the how to is what we really try to focus on in LARC. You know what needs to be done, but how to do it efficiently and do it well and do it in a way that it just becomes part of your work. If there's one point I could make today, it's that we're not trying to add something to your work. This is your work. We are trying to come up with better, smoother, more efficient ways to do the work that you have to do. So thanks for those points.
So Barbara, did you see Emmanuel's question to Tendai?
Emmanuel's question to Tendai.
In
No,
the chat
please
box.
read that out.
Do you want Emmanuel to read it out? Or do you want me to read it out?
Emmanuel, open your mic and read it out. That'd be great.
All right, good afternoon. I just wanted to check from Tendai. She had said, like when you do the smart start, you're supposed to make people feel that it's not a fault-finding mission. So I wanted to find out how you get to assure people that it's not fault-finding. And I'd added is verbal affirmation enough?
And Tendai, you want to open your mic and give your response? That's a great question.
Hello.
Hi, Tendai.
I actually replied in the chat box. Yes, we can verbally affirm, but what is most important is the way we carry ourselves, the way we communicate with facility staff, giving them enough space. They must know they've been doing good, but there's still room to improve. So our communication skills are very important so that the facility staff can accommodate us and accept addressing these gaps. Over.
And if I could add one more point to what Tendai said in response to Emmanuel's question. Really, it is self-discovery. It is not someone coming in from the outside. There's a coach there, right? But it's the opportunity for the person who is working in the process, in the situation, to see it from this bigger picture view. I don't know if you remember Dr. Deming, he said, you know, you just have a job until you actually are able to see the process, to understand the process. Then you're part of the action and the solution. So I think it's really empowering. I don't think in any process mapping activity I've been a part of that it's been seen to feel a fault finding mission. I think it's been much more of an empowering mission that people all of a sudden now can, it's stepping up a level like a bird on the ceiling, looking over your process. And then you start to see how the pieces work together. And again, I've seen it as very empowering. I see Japhet has a hand raised. Japhet?
Thank you. I think one of the issues that I wanted to highlight, Katie also raised it in the chat box to say that we are not focusing on people, but on the processes as we are conducting this important exercise. And maybe lastly, following the discussion, I think from whatever we are discussing, I think it's now clear that we cannot conduct a smart start in our offices. We have to visit, the sites over.
Thank you so much. I appreciate that perspective from both you and Katie. Exactly. We are focusing on the processes, the systems, and not the people. All right. So I have another question for Jackie. I don't know if our other two coaches have been able to join in, but certainly any coaches on the line who want to pop in.
Hi, Barbara.
Yes.
Hi, Barbara.
Yes.
We are still having Sam and Fijani having problems. So I've asked Nicholas and Tendai, you can go ahead and interview them. And Liberty as well, he's also keen from the left side.
Perfect, perfect. So I'll just, the kind of, as we're walking through the process, the next one has to do with the impact effort grid, kind of working through. So we've sat in a conference room, we've said, here's what we think is happening. We've gone out and walked the process, not from our office, as Japhet said, unless we're doing it virtually with an iPhone. And then we've come back to the classroom. We've maybe adjusted and modified our process map based on what we actually see happening. And we've also collected, if you have sticky notes or if people have written on pieces of paper, we've also collected those opportunities for improvement. We've put them on a board and we've put them together in groups. So maybe 5 people identified that they weren't taking vital signs at the nursing station. The vital signs were not being taken. So we put them together in a group, and now we're going to put them on that impact effort grid. We're going to decide if they're difficult to do or easy to do. And we're going to decide what level of impact. Do we think it's going to be a small impact or a large impact? And then based on those 4 quadrants, we're putting those opportunities for improvement into those quadrants. So I will open this up to any of our coaches, including Jackie. When you did that impact effort grid, did you have challenges determining what was more of a project, which would be in the quadrant that would be high impact but difficult to do? Or was it more of a just do it, which would be high impact but also easy to do? So did you have problems distinguishing between what might be a just do it and what might be something that would require more of a project approach? Any comments on that from any of our coaches?
Nicholas and Liberty have got their hands up.
Perfect. I saw Nicholas's first. Nicholas, if you go ahead and then we'll take Liberty. Thanks for chiming in. We appreciate it.
Okay, good afternoon once again. So on the impact effort grid, we did not encounter a lot of challenges. Actually, what we did was to some sort of empower our facility staff so that they can be able to realize that this kind of a opportunity for improvement can be solved probably by them at facility level, and also trying to guide them on some of the opportunities for improvement that needed higher level intervention. But basically, it was just a way of trying to capacitate our facility staff. Like Sister Tendai has said, to say when we are giving our feedback, it has to be objective, and we have to walk through the whole process with the facility staff so that they can be able to identify themselves to say this area we were not doing very well. And then in terms of solutions, then they can be able to say this one we can sort it out on our own. And also, what was also very important on this one was to some sort of sensitize them so that they can actually visualize the impact of those challenges, right, on the program, so that at least we can now try to classify to say this one, if not done, is a higher impact, or probably if this done, this one with low impact, we can even do it probably at the end. So I would also say it was a way of trying to rank the opportunities for improvement, so that as we try to solve them, then we will see what we are going to prioritize over.
So I appreciate that, Nicholas. Thanks for pitching in, and also for highlighting that it's empowering. If you actually identify these opportunities, and then you as a team, or you mentioned some of them are out of your control, perhaps the whole collaborative can address them at a higher level, then if they actually see things getting fixed and better, that certainly improves the buy-in. Liberty, thanks for joining in. Go ahead and share with us your thoughts.
Okay, thank you. So for us, I think with the impact effort grid, I think we had a bit of a challenge in some of the opportunities in trying to prioritize them. So you'd find that there would be some that would go just do it, but you would later on realize that they are not that easy. So I think what we then learned was, if anything required a lot of resources, there was a lot of time involved or planning, then maybe you need not to straight away say it's a just do it. So there's always that issue where you might face that challenge in trying to prioritize to say, okay, which one should we then be doing first? So in a nutshell, I think it's key to just view in terms of the planning. If it requires a lot of planning, it requires a lot of time to execute, then it's not a just do it. So I think that's what was my take-home message was. Thank you.
So Liberty, you're going to be teaching the class next time. I think that's a very good learning. And so 2 points I want to follow up on. One is, this is about learning, not perfection. So we may fail at some small test of change or figuring out that something's not a just do it, but we're always learning. So we're not failing, we are learning. And Liberty also pointed out that oftentimes we tend to think things are just do it's, meaning, you know, it's something we can resolve in a week or two here. It's something quick, we can just fix it and go on. But oftentimes that is not the case. And coaches, you want to guide your team toward thinking about just do it's or things that can be completed in a week or two. They require 1 or 2 people at the most. A perfect example I remember from the just do it's from one of our implementations in Swaziland is they were delivering the viral load results to the OI nurse. and they didn't have any place to put them where they could identify which ones were high and which ones were not. So they put some shelves on the wall, and the high viral load results go here. The suppressed viral load results would go here. So something like that is a perfect just do it. And I think Liberty's learning is excellent, that many times things that we think are just do it's aren't. So very well said, Liberty. Thank you so much.
So Barbara, there's a suggestion in the comment in the chat box. Billy said, I would love to see the coaches as they speak.
Oh, that would be fabulous, fabulous. So guys, if you respond again, please, if you can, show us your faces. We'd love to see that. So I want to, at this moment, open it up for other questions that folks may have that they would like to ask our coaches, because even though a couple of our coaches who we're planning on joining in are not here, we have, I see many familiar names here. So if you have questions, remember, today you will go back and you will schedule this Smart Start, probably either this week or next Monday at the latest. You will schedule that day. You will be the person conducting that session. So this is a beautiful opportunity to ask the real experts who've done it before. So let's jump, please feel free to, I'm gonna open it up for anyone to ask questions now about how to do Smart Start. That's the goal, that you can go and schedule your Smart Start today and jump right in and get it done. So if you have questions, please either type them in the chat box or raise your hand. We would love to hear from you. And while you may be thinking about that, I will open it up to Liberty and Nicholas to respond to any of the other questions that we asked today, challenges that you had with Smart Start, things that you might do differently next time, things that benefits you saw. So I will certainly open it up to our other coaches if you have any comments that you want to make to help the fellow coaches here. All right. While you're thinking about that, I don't. Liberty, go ahead.
Okay, thanks. So I think initially.
Sorry, Liberty, are you able to turn on your camera so people can see your face?
Sorry. There you go. No, it's fine. So I think initially when we were setting up to do the process mapping, when we were like in a conference setting, trying to establish which steps our processes were, I think we spent too much time when we had a group of people arguing certain steps. It's funny, you then realize that we're in one sort of establishment, but we think of different processes for the same. So we later on discovered that other people were more of looking at the more of the desired state or what is supposed to be. Someone says, no, we do this other step. So once we did the walkthrough, that's when we got the actual details. But I think what is mostly important is when you're doing the conference setting, is people to realize that we are mapping the current process as opposed to what it is supposed to be. Because you can spend a lot of time where people are trying to ascertain steps in that period. Thank you.
So great point, Liberty. Spending a lot of time and trying to get what you think you're supposed to say, right? What you think you're supposed to be doing, you want to get it up there and spending a lot of time. Current state, what's actually happening on the ground. No harm, no foul, just what is actually happening. And maybe I heard in there, don't sweat so much the arguing over that or discussing it, right? Get up there what you think and then go see. Is that what you're saying, Liberty?
So Barbara, there's
Definitely, yeah.
Thomas asked a great question. Could you please look at the chat box?
Great. And Thomas, if you want to open your mic and ask the question, or I can read it out, if you can open your mic, that would be great.
You can read it out, Barbara, it's okay.
Great.
Okay.
And if you can turn on your camera, that would be great too.
So Thomas says, how did the coaches manage to have deliverables with the teams who would have many competing programs and COVID-19 limited times due to lockdown with less teams on the ground? That is a hugely important question. So I'm going to open it up to any of our coaches who are online who might be able to help Thomas. This is peer-to-peer learning at its best, so I love it. I'd really like to hear one of our coaches to answer Thomas's question. How do you manage to have those deliverables when you have competing priorities? Jackie, Liberty, Nicholas, Tendai, anyone else?
Yeah, maybe I can take that one as well.
Thank you, Liberty.
I think that's a very, very relevant question given the circumstances that we are in. And I think what you are going to realize, especially on the coach side, you really need to put in a lot in terms of follow-ups, in terms of assisting the team. And I think it's going to take, maybe, it's not everyone who's going to come on board, but you need to make sure that you identify one or two people within the different teams that you can rally along with. Like you rightfully say, it's not going to be easy because I think we are going to be having very close timelines in terms of submissions and all that. So you always find that even if you try to get things from the teams, you will need some extra effort to continually try to engage. So I think it's up to the team to make sure, one, that the coach is heavily involved with follow-ups, then also the participants for the particular team. If you have one or two people you identify that are going to be pushing whilst you are pushing from the other side. But it's not an easy task, but it can be done, because I think with other coaches, they've also gone through the same things in the lockdowns. So I don't know if I answer you well, but that's what I found to be working. Thank you.
So Thomas, was that helpful?
Yes, Barbara, thank you. I think it's a system issue, and more or less the angle of Liberty is let's look at the deliverables that we have, and then we try to find the winning team. I think in the define, there were some roles that we're also learning. So you need to find who is who, and then you keep the big vision or the big target that we have in mind, then you'll be able to attain it. Otherwise, thank you so much, Liberty and Barbara.
Thank you, I appreciate that. Nicholas, you had your hand up, or did you put it back down? I think, is Samuel online now?
Yes, hi Barbara.
I see you,
colleagues.
Samuel. So do you have words of wisdom for anyone about Smart Start?
I think what I can say is Smart Start is not a witch hunting exercise, but it's an initiative for quality improvement. We are there to either improve the process or to solve problems, not to witch hunt or on a fault-finding mission.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
Okay, so in terms of just to add on to what Libert has just said, yes, we know LARC might be there at the facility, but it's not there to replace whatever quality improvement is there on site. It's not a competing program per se, but it's there to complement the already existing quality improvement initiatives. So to answer part of what Thomas has asked, during this COVID-19 scenario, there was and there is need for scheduling meetings, either online with the members that are available, and provide feedback to those members that are not available at that particular time. So I'm sure meetings are very important with feedback to other colleagues who might not be around during that time. Thank you.
Thank you, Samuel. A couple of things, I think we mentioned it last week, and I think Liberty alluded to it. There's a lot of front loading, especially right now in the work that is being done, getting the Smart Start set up and getting all that done. A lot of front loading in the work. Set aside some serious time early on to get things started off well. And then I think the other piece is, this is our work. Assuring that every client who's eligible for a viral load gets a viral load, and making every test count, that is our work. So yes, it will take a little more time to do some process mapping, but once you see and understand the process and get it running and working better in the long run, your work will go smoother and better, and you'll still be doing what your work is, which is, you know, getting every client a viral load. So I think that it is your work, and if you can help people to see that you're making their work and their day-to-day work better, I think will be helpful. So anything in the chat box? No, it's talking about network. Okay, I'm going to give you, I'm going to launch some polls about what we have learned in our videos. And while I'm doing that, hopefully it might stimulate another question or two. So feel free to put those in the chat box, and we want to use the great coaching resources that we have here. But in the meantime, I'm going to launch a few polls quickly, and then we will very soon get to talking about what's next. Here's a poll, and select the single best answer to fill in the blanks about the aim statement. All right, so 1 of 68 people have voted. So get your polling fingers going.
So Barbara, just to be clear, they can select more than one answer, right?
No, they're just supposed to select one answer.
Okay, because it says multiple choice there.
Yeah, I don't know about that, but it says select the single best answer. So
Okay.
just select one. I am not sure about the multiple choice piece. All right, so 39% have voted. We're gonna have some rapid fire polls here. So get your polling fingers going. %52% have voted. We'll leave it open a second longer. All right, 57% have voted. We're going to end the poll. All right. So here's what we have as results. 26% of you said it was important, it was overarching, and is guiding. That is true. But the single best answer is the aim statement is a do what, by when statement. It's do what, by when. And we're going to talk about the aim statement in just a second. So that's perfect lead in. Let's launch another poll. This is also select the best answer to fill in the blank. Select the best answer, single one best answer, not multiple choice. So select the single best answer. And this is a quote from Dr. W. Edwards Deming, who's the father of modern quality improvement. And this is sort of why we go to do Smart Start. All right, I've got some A's, some C's, some D's. So go ahead and get your vote in. 57% have voted. About the same as last time. 60%, okay, very good. So I'm going to end the poll. So the majority of people said if people do not see the process, they cannot improve it. And that is the exact quote from Dr. Deming. The others might be interesting answers and might also be true, but this is the single best answer. And that is why we do Smart Start. If you can't see the process, step back and look at it. All is these interconnected steps. Then you're not going to be able to improve it. Oh, I didn't share the, yeah, now you can see the results. So 80% of you said, see, if you don't see the process, you can't improve it. All right, let's launch another poll. We're having fun, right? This one also says, select the single best answer. What are important steps to prepare for the Smart Start on-site process mapping? And it's not multiple choice, it's just select the single best answer. What are the important steps to prepare for the Smart Start on-site process mapping? Okay, 51% of you have voted. And here are the results. So some of you said A, define the process to be studied. That's a good answer. Some of you said C, identify the CADRs that are involved in the process. That is also a good answer. But the single best answer is D. So define the process, complete the logistical arrangements. Who needs to be there? What kind of supplies do you need? And then identify the CADRs that are involved in the process, and you'll want at least one person from each CADR to be involved. So great job there. We've got another poll. All right. Which of the following is a key deliverable of Smart Start? And again, this would not be multiple choice. You would select one answer. What's a key deliverable of the Smart Start? Okay, 33% of you have voted. %46 have voted. What's a key deliverable of Smart Start? All right, 58% of you have voted. I'm going to end the poll. I'm going to share the results. And the winner is Process Map. Yes, that is a key deliverable of Smart Start. The others are tools that we'll certainly use throughout the improvement project. They're important tools, but Process Map is really the key deliverable that we will get from the Smart Start. All right, we're going to, we have a couple more polls, but we're going to finish those in a second. We're going to go back to sharing our screen. I think there's one more comment in the chat from Nicholas. Katie, would you mind reading that out?
Sure. Nicholas said it has not been easy to meet the deliverables, considering the flex hours which Minister of Health staff were working. However, coaches had to plan support visits together with facility staff to avoid clash of activities. Very important point.
Thank you so much for sharing that, Nicholas. And I think you can see if you're new to LARC or new to coaching that we have a wealth of experience in this coaching group. We're appreciative of Jackie today. We're sorry we missed Vijani. We appreciate Samuel, but we appreciate other coaches just jumping right in and really sharing. So thank you all so much to our coaches. Can we give a round of applause to our coaches? Either you can put a clap in your as your reaction. Nice. Thank you all so very much. We are very appreciative, and we will certainly be calling on your expertise as we go on. All right, let's look ahead. I said we are beginning with the end in mind. And here are our deliverables that we will be having as an output from the Smart Start. It looks like a lot, so I want to break it down for you a little bit and give you some help. This is the PowerPoint template that we will ask you to use to put the deliverables in. Only put in the deliverables that you actually did at Smart Start. Leave the rest of it blank. You can add those later. Don't feel like you have to put something on every slide. Only put the deliverables that you actually have produced out of Smart Start. And that will be, if it's not out to you already, it will be coming to you. The process table, here's a blank one. So once you do this all sort of in, usually on a wall with paper, with some sticky notes, whatever, or you can do it virtually. Once you do that, we need someone who would put it into an electronic format. What we have done is there's a sample process table, what it looks like completed, and then we are sending you a process table sample with the steps in it. Now, these might not be the exact steps for your facility, and they certainly might not be in the right order, but it's just a little bit of a help for you to see the detail that we like to see, usually around 20 some odd steps, if you really break it down. So we have provided for you, and I think you'll be getting it later today, a process table that has the steps there. So again, not saying that those have to be your steps. It's just an example to help get you going. And then you'll want to fill in, well, what happens at that step? Who's responsible for the step? About how long does it take? This doesn't have to be exact, but you know, is it in the form of minutes? Is it in the form of days? Is it months? Whatever. And then forms and logs. I think you might have noticed in that video that we were looking at that we were looking at the forms and logs. That's how you see what is actually happening. and linking the forms and logs with the steps, you're able to validate what you see there. And then opportunities for improvement. Everyone who is involved in this process mapping needs to contribute at least one and hopefully many opportunities for improvement that they saw when they walked the process. So that is the process table, the impact effort grid. I think that Liberty shared very nicely on that, but basically you're going to take every opportunity for improvement. Hopefully they're written on separate sheets of paper, and then you're going to ask, is this easy or hard? And then once people determine that, then you're going to say, is it, will it have a major impact or a minor impact? And then you'll place that on the grid. I also want to share with you that the aim statement, so that's one of your deliverables, you already have it. So Japhet has put those together. I share them here. The clinic aim statement is here. You simply will need to put your own baseline number in there. That's what the blank is. But increase the proportion of eligible patients with the viral load sample received by lab from whatever your baseline is to 80% by when we're ending in May. So there's one you already have. Whew, you can relax, you have one done already. And then for the lab, depending on whether you're a district hub or a testing lab, the aim is to increase the proportion of viral load samples that reach targeted turnaround times, and that of course is defined. And so if you're part of a lab team, you already have your aim statement. You plug it in, there's one of your deliverables already done. There you go.
So Barbara, before you move on, I just want to highlight a new comment that Samuel typed in the chat box.
Okay.
He said, just do it. Basically, it's low hanging fruits. I think that's a good way to think about it.
I like that. I like that. I like that. Okay, so before we still have 15 minutes or 14 minutes. So I really want to leave this slide up and give you an opportunity to ask questions about any one of these deliverables. The elevator speech, I'll just remind you that you plug in the elevator speeches, you plug in your aim statement there, and you plug in what you're measuring. So those two are already done for your elevator speech. You plug those in, and then you ask the question, why are we doing this? Why is it important? So elevator speech, once you have your aim statement and once you have what you're measuring, which you've been already given, then you just have to ask your team, why is this important? And you can finish the elevator speech. The team, you have identified one person from each cadre who will participate in your process mapping. Bring those people onto your team. Of course, decide who's going to be your champion, the person who has control over the activities. So you should be able to form your team. Obviously, you want them, whoever's your team, to participate in this process mapping. So this really needs to be done. The stakeholder analysis is simply an activity in identifying those people who are stakeholders, who are involved or care about your process. And then the process map and table and the impact effort grid all really come when you are actually doing the Smart Start day. The problem statement. So I'm going to go back and launch a poll because we want to talk about the problem statement. Again, I want to help you get as many of these deliverables ready to go ahead of time. So I'm going to give you an opportunity to look at problem statements. I'm going to give you a few minutes on this because this might take a little bit longer, but let's select the best problem statement for the LARC Clinic AIM, and then we'll also do that for the lab AIM. So again, trying to get those deliverables done for you so the list doesn't seem quite so daunting. So once we develop a problem statement, we can all adopt the same problem statement and you can plug that in. So I'm going to stop talking. You're going to take a look and you're going to read these and pick the one that you feel like would be the best problem statement based on what you've learned about the 15 words tool. All right, 46% of you have voted. Again, this will be a help to you in getting those deliverables checked off your list. 57% have voted. So I'm going to go ahead and end the poll. 65%, awesome. So 74% of you chose B. B says too few viral load samples are being collected and received by the lab for eligible clients. 5% of you chose viral load samples are being lost and diverted by the writers. So I am going to agree with the 74% of you that B is the best problem statement, but I need someone to share with me what is the thing that we're missing or the thing that's not appropriate for a problem statement in A. Can anyone identify for me? Just type on into the chat box. And Katie, since I'm sharing a poll, I'm not able to see that right now, but anyone have an idea why A is not the best response? What is in that problem statement that we want to avoid? Anyone have an idea about that? So I know we probably remember the 15 words. So B does definitely fit the 15 words, but there's something else in problem statements that we don't want to include in problem statements. What is in number A that is really not appropriate for the problem statement? Any thoughts?
Can I come in?
Please.
Yes, I think one of the biggest problem with option A is that it's like a faulty finding problem statement, or it's like apportioning blame to somebody. So it's no longer focusing on the system, but maybe it's focusing on individuals.
So excellent point. Problem statements don't deal with the cause. We get to the cause. We have a beautiful tool for understanding the causes, and that's called a fishbone or 5 whys. But this a problem statement is not a place to start deciding what to blame or what the cause might be. So excellent point. Thank you so much, Billy. I appreciate that. So what I want to do is one more problem statement, and this is the problem statement for the lab. Again, wanting to help you get those deliverables checked off so the list doesn't seem so overwhelming. So select the one best problem statement, and I'll stop talking and let you read. All right, 50% of you have voted. So I'm going to go ahead and end the poll. And I'll share with you the results. 20% of you said viral load results take too long. 22% of you said we only get half of our viral load results back within 1 month. And then 56% of you said too few viral load results from the lab actually meet the targeted turnaround time. So that is the best answer. B is the best answer. Too few viral load results from the lab actually meet the targeted turnaround time. So why would A or D not be the best answers? Do you have a reason for that? And we have about 4 minutes left, so we want to end on time. So if you have a thought.
Hi, Barbara.
Yes.
Hi, Barbara.
Samuel, you are a perfect person to respond.
Like you said earlier on, the aim statement is a lab-based project, which is supposed to be addressed by the lab. Observations, those seem to be statements from the healthcare facility. Like from the lab perspective, I can say we only get half of our viral load results back with it. I can work on an aim statement which includes one of the years, which is the TAT. So an aim statement like too few viral load results from the lab actually meet the targeted is an appropriate thank you.
Thank you, Samuel. You broke up a little bit, but I think I did hear that this one is measurable and we can, it comes from the lab point of view. And so we do hear statements A and D often, right, from the clinics, but it would be better to relate it to something that we can actually measure, I think, so. And doesn't, too many viral load results are left sitting at the hub. 2% of the people voted for that. you know, and again, that we don't know that. That may be the cause or may not be the cause. We just don't know yet. So don't want to focus on causes. All right, so that's it for the polls today. I think I will stop sharing and I will turn it over to Patience and Fortunate to give you any reminders. And oh, I see. Okay, we've got some comments here. Some people said about problem statements, it was accusatory. Some people are having network challenges. Liberty said that some of the problem statements were too long and they were subjective. Very good point. So Patience, comment on what you've put into our poll and give us any parting words, Patience, Fortunate. And I just want to sign off and say thank you so much. I will ask if any faculty are here that they would be able to stay by for a very quick debrief. And I want to thank each person who attended today and for the interaction. I thought it was a very rich session, and I just look forward to getting to know you all better and continue to work together. So Patience and Fortunate, over to you.
Thank you, Barbara. That was a good session. We did learn a lot. We have posted the link survey for this webinar. Please kindly quickly click on the link and ensure you complete the survey. And this should be done immediately before you forget, and not later than end of day tomorrow, but we advise that you do it now so that you can quickly complete it. It takes a minute or less. Thank you. I'll give Japhet to give us the closing remarks. Thank you. Over to you, Japhet.
Japhet, are you around? Japhet? Anyway, I think
so while we wait for Jeff, can I just make a quick announcement? I saw in the chat box a lot of comments about unstable network, you know, so people was having hard time hearing things. I just want to make sure that you all are aware that we post the recording of each webinar on the LARC website, and usually at the end of the day. It happened really quickly. So I would encourage everyone who had hard time really listening to the entire session to really take advantage of the recordings to make sure that you learn everything that is critical. Thank you.
Okay, I think we've lost Japhet. I think it's the connectivity as well. I just want to thank everyone on behalf of Ministry of Health. Everyone who's joined into the webinar today, and I would like to encourage you to go and start on your process mapping, your smart start as soon as tomorrow, so that by next week we'll have all done our process mapping. So coaches, remember you have one site where you are going to do the smart start. You are not going to do in all your sites, but just one site. That's where you do your smart start. And then after that, you need to go. We are going to send you after this meeting. We are going to send the PowerPoint presentation templates for you to complete, and also the sample process table so that you can follow the steps when you do your process mapping. Thank you. So I'm sure we'll meet one or two of you as we support you during this smart start. We'll come to a few facilities. So we are going to notify those where we'll be coming to support you with the smart start. We're going to call you and contact you individually so that we tell you when we'll be coming. Thank you. So please go ahead and click on the survey link so that you complete the survey. We'll keep the meeting open for those who are clicking on the survey, who are still looking at the survey link so that you can complete the survey. We'll also send the survey link on the WhatsApp platform for those who might have missed it on the chat box. Thank you, Barbara.
Thank
Great.
you. So if we could just have faculty stay by for maybe 10 minutes. And can we stop the recording?